Yo, what is up, boys? Today is Motovlog Day, and today is a anticipated video. Today, I am finally filming my first impressions of my brand new 2015 Kawasaki Vulcan S. This is my first video I filmed on it. I've taken a couple short trips on it, so I have my kind of first impressions, and I have them written down in this book. Some positives and some few negatives. So enough yapping. Let's get on the road and show you my first impressions of my 2015 Kawasaki Vulcan S.
All right, boys, are we ready? Let's do this. So these are in no particular order, but I am going to start with the positives first, but they are not in order. They were just kind of there. I kind of wrote them down as I noticed them, as I, took a couple trips on the bike. Not long ones, but some short ones. There is a long trip planned, so be ready. So honestly, my first impression of this bike when I sat on it in the dealership and then obviously sat on it when I bought it was I could not believe, for a cruiser, right? You got to remember, this is cruiser mentality here. I could not believe how insanely light this bike is, okay? I mean, this thing, I can throw this thing around, okay? And I'm about 5'8", probably like 175, 170 right now. And this, I mean, look at this. Look at this. And that is with a passenger on the back. I mean, it is insanely light. Now, obviously, I have a Grom, so light, that's why I'm saying light is, what you think of weight is obviously, subjective. Because if I were to put this next to a Grom, I'd be like, wow, gosh, I could lift a Grom up with one arm, basically. But in cruiser land, compared to my brother's big bike, dude, this thing feels like it weighs nothing. And kind of on the same wavelength of that, kind of perfect for this road that I am on. Another positive I noticed that caught me off guard was how maneuverable it is. I mean, it is, look at this. Like, I am throwing this thing around right now at 40 miles an hour on the side of a mountain. Like, and it doesn't feel like a struggle at all, because this bike is a more sporty cruiser, and I'll get into that later. And that's honestly why this is one of my favorite bikes, is because of that, and because of where I started and where I came from. Another first impression was, I mean, it is very maneuverable. I live where there is speed bumps, and I have to avoid them. One of the negatives coming up soon. I have to avoid them for a certain reason, and I can dip, dodge. I mean, at slow speeds. Is there any cars behind me? Check this out. I mean, like, look at this. Like, look how easy. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it is very maneuverable. It doesn't feel like I'm lugging around a freaking 900-pound, huge motor with wheels on it. If you were scared of like big bikes and big cruisers, this is absolutely perfect. I mean, and it just, look at it, it glides. Look at that puppy. Man, very light, very maneuverable were the first two things I noticed right off the bat. The third thing that I noticed was kind of a surprise to me, I guess, in a sense, okay, because we'll get into the negatives. In a sense, this bike is very, very smooth. I mean, it is very smooth. Like, everything about it almost is smooth. Like, on the throttle control, right? The throttle. See, it's very, right when I get on here, it's, the gearbox, it just click, right? Does that make sense? Like the Grom gearbox, and some of the Grom feels very clunky. Like, the Grom gearbox, I don't like. It feels like, I don't know, like you're shifting in mashed potatoes or something. I haven't found one thing about this bike, kind of, that is not smooth. Watch. See that? Here we go, another one. Like that is awesome. It is a blast to ride. It is insanely smooth. Now, one of the things that also caught me off guard when I was leaving the dealership, because I watched a lot of videos, obviously I watched a lot of videos on this bike before I bought it. I try to make smart purchases and make sure that the bike is for me. A lot of people were saying that, like, probably a lot of haters, because once you buy this bike, you find things that you like about it. But a few people were saying that it was underpowered, okay? I don't know where the hell that came from, okay? I'll be honest. When I got on this thing, mind you, yes, my main bike for this last couple summer was a Honda Grom. Obviously, a tortilla chip is going to have more power than a Honda Grom, okay? But I also own a sport bike, and specifically a 1000cc sport bike. So I know what power is. Go. has got it, okay? Another thing that I noticed, I'm just gonna stop counting and just kind of like talk about it now. Another awesome thing that I noticed was, like a sport bike, this bike really comes alive at 6, 7, 8, 9,000 RPMs, okay? Okay, watch this. Watch this. Watch my speedometer. Okay, and that was second gear, right? And that was almost 60 miles an hour. Yes, obviously my sport bike can do 80 miles an hour in first gear, but that's like, is that what people are considering power? Because if you're like in the cruiser world, like I don't see where people are saying the power's not there. Yeah, in the lower RPMs, yeah, she's a little bit slower. Watch, we'll do second gear. We'll slow down a little bit and we'll do second gear. So we'll go to about 10 miles an hour. Okay, second gear, full throttle. See, and she starts to, once it hits 6K, she starts pulling me. So maybe it's people that are used to reviewing like cruisers, and they're not used to the power band being up so high, whereas I come from predominantly a sport bike, so I am used to the power band being that high, and that's a positive. I enjoy that. I like that the lower RPMs are not gonna kill me, right? I enjoy that these lower RPMs, she's mellow, and she only opens up when you want her to, right? I don't have to be as careful, whereas if I go on my sport bike throttle and I hit one of these, right, I'm speeding. I'm going faster than I should be and I can get a felony, right? Whereas this, you know, there's something in my way right now. I need to get out of the way real quick. I'm in second gear, 4,000 RPMs, okay? See? She can get there. And then if you need to really get out of the way, you just have to remember that the higher RPMs are where she comes alive. And I truly think that is a positive for me. Some people may think it's a negative, but honestly, it is a positive for me. That was another thing that I had noticed, kind of on that same sporty-ish vibe, is it is extremely, for what it is, the way that the bike is built and what it is classified as, a cruiser. That is what it is classified as. That's what it looks like. It has a really big rake in the front. That's what it is, okay? It's not a cruiser, but it is. Hear me out. It's a sporty cruiser, and I enjoy that. I like that. It's not a normal, boring Harley bagger. 60K, right? This cost me a little over $3,000 with 10,000 miles on it. Probably has more features than a Harley too. Sorry, I don't know. You know, this isn't about Harley. But it being more sporty is more attractive to me because it adds the boring cruiser factor. It's something new and it's something totally different. I'm gonna get off and show you the design of it so you can look a little closer.
And this is a good example because obviously mine is not stock. I bought it with all of this stuff done to it. So this isn't like a bare bones. This is like a kind of probably like semi-normal cruiser to like semi, you know, it's in the middle. It's not fully cruisered out. It's not fully toured out, but it's just kind of starting to get there. If you look at it, it still looks sporty. I personally really like the way that this bike looks. Yes, I do not like those bags. Yes, they will be coming off, but I'm planning on doing a 200-mile test drive road trip. So I need them on so I can test if I like the bags, if I don't like the bags, stuff like that. The windshield, you know, we'll get in. I'm going to do a whole separate mod video and talk about completely what has been done, the way that I bought it, and then what I plan on doing with it. But if you can look at it, it just looks extremely sporty in my opinion. The nice bars that are real close. It's not super kicked out in the front. There's a bunch of horse flies all over this thing. Can you guys leave, please? Thank you. But I enjoy the sportiness look of it.
I mean, as you can tell, I really do like the way that it looks, and I think that the sportier vibe is just, it's more unique besides just having a normal Harley that looks the exact same as all the other 6 that are on the road, right? It looks good in my opinion. One of the other things that I noticed after getting on this bike and sitting on it, riding it a little bit, I will have to say with an asterisk, okay, keep this in mind, an asterisk, and we will talk about it later. This is ridiculous. ridiculously comfortable. Ridiculously. Now, what I mean by that, okay, I am a very short guy. This bike, I am able, with the low seat height, I am able to touch the ground with both feet easily with my knees bent. Where the pegs are, because this bike has that ergo fit system. Obviously, I didn't buy it brand new, so I don't have that set up. I have it for whoever bought it brand new, which it was the people before me. I am the second owner of this bike. So they set it up, and I think it was a man's wife's bike. So, oh, that's beautiful. That is just gorgeous right there. Look at that. Take a look at that view. So I believe that, you know, given the trends of women, no hate, women tend to be a little bit shorter than men. So I think she has it set up in the shortest position she can. I've measured the seat. The seat is in the shorter seat. I believe the pegs are the closest one, and you can see my knees are like right here, and the bars are like right here. I'm not having to completely like stretch out like on my brother's bike, or my legs. I'm not having to stretch out way up here to shift gears and be super, super uncomfortable. The bike is right here where I want it, and it fits me very, very well. Like, even for being these are like forward controls, I'm pretty sure they don't feel like it to me. It is easy to shift gears. Everything is right here. My bars are right here. Everything is close. My arms have a bend to them. My back isn't super like bent over trying to like reach the front. It's one of the most comfortable bikes I have ever ridden. Now remember, keep an asterisk right there though, and we'll talk about that when we get into the negatives, which is coming up very soon. My last kind of wow moment, okay, and maybe this is specifically because I do come from a Grom as being my main bike for the last little while. This bike is the easiest bike to throw into neutral by far. I'm telling you, I could do a full click up and it would go into neutral when I'm at a stoplight. I'm telling you, it is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. And then when you're on like when you're at a stop and you're in neutral, if you try to click into second gear, like, you could sit there and click, it ain't going. It is not going, which I don't see as a bad thing. I mean, maybe I guess it could be a bad thing, and I bet you if you tried hard enough, you could probably get it to go. It is wild. And another thing, and this is the last thing that I had noticed, my first impressions, positive wise, that not a lot of people talked about, and I had no idea about until I had to like look it up, because I was like, what is that? If you look occasionally on my dash, it might be hard for you guys to see. There's this light down here, and if I hit it, it goes away, and as soon as I kind of stop and chill for a minute, it comes back. That is an eco light, and it lets you know that, hey, by riding this way, you're saving gas, which is awesome. Are you kidding me? Like, if I hold it at a steady RPM for a little while, look, there it is. Right there. It says ECO to let you know, hey, oh, it went away. I hit the throttle too hard. But that's kind of a cool feature that I didn't see anybody mention. It's probably next to useless, which I understand, you know, it's not the biggest thing in the world. But for this to be like a 2015 and it tells you when you're getting good gas mileage is pretty rad. You know what I mean? So those are like my main positives, and there's a lot of them. So now, boys, oh, should we go look at some buffalo? Let's go by the buffalo. Let's take a little intermission and go look at some buffalo in this video, huh? Look at that. Whoops, almost honked my horn.
How cool is that? Little buffalo intermission, huh? I think they're technically bison, so don't get mad at me in the comments. Bison, buffalo, tomato, you know? That one's eating over there. All right, I guess we'll stand here for a minute, and then we'll get back on the bike, and I'll talk about the negatives.
So now we're gonna hop on the highway and do the negatives. Real quick, watch the acceleration of this. When people say there's no power, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, boys. I'll be honest with you. One of the first negatives I noticed, it doesn't necessarily drive me nuts, and most of these negatives can be fixed. Genuinely, so that is awesome. And I don't know if it's really a negative, it just kind of drives me nuts. I was watching videos on this thing, and people said that the throttle was extremely twitchy. Okay, and I was like, well, what the hell does that mean? Like, just have a softer hand, you know? Like, twitchy throttle, like, then don't pull so hard, basically, right? Now, I should have known, coming from an e-bike that has insane power, that I should know how bad twitchy throttles can be, and I have experienced twitchy throttle on my e-bike. very, very twitchy. This bike and this throttle is either on or off. There's not really an in-between, okay? I promise. I am light on this throttle because I've tried, you know, like my e-bike, I've learned to be extremely, extremely light on the throttle. This son of a gun right here is off or she's on. There's no mix in it. There's no mix in it, okay? Also with that, there is, whew, smells like brakes. The engine braking is pretty aggressive. Now, coming, you know, I'm trying not to compare to other bikes and only compare it to this, but I'm trying to compare it to the experiences that I've had. My old school sport bike has some pretty aggressive engine braking as well. This is definitely worse. When I have a passenger on the back like I do right now, she's right here. When I have her on the back, we almost click helmets, and she can hold herself up pretty good. She has ridden with me for thousands of miles. She's not like a noob where she just, you know, fent leans and let her head fall. When I slow down, I don't even slow down. When I just let off the throttle like this, at highway speeds and higher RPMs, it's not as bad. But when we're going a little bit slower and we're going slower speeds, like if I'm merging with traffic, like quickly, I'm getting on the highway from being off the highway, and I like have to slow back down because I caught up with traffic, man, son of a gun. She throws you through a loop. She'll basically throw you through the windshield kind of thing, okay? Those were the two big things that caught me off guard at first, was like, whoa, dude. Because I was expecting it, but at the same time, I was not expecting it. People said it in videos that I watched, and I didn't experience it until I experienced it firsthand. Yes, I will be buying that part that fixes it. There's a part you can buy. I don't know exactly what it's called. That is something that it will definitely have to happen, because on longer trips, that would just drive me nuts, not being able to really like fine tune my speed. And when I eventually, because I do plan on doing some light touring with this bike, when I do get a throttle lock, it's not if, it is when I get a throttle lock, I want to be able to kind of tune it in at a speed and not have it be going Mach Jesus or decelling us super duper hard. So that was my first impression of the throttle. I was like, wow, this puppy is on or off. Another thing that I noticed is a good thing and a bad thing, because it could be kind of like Teslas, where they're super low center of gravity, it feels like. This bike is extremely low to the ground. Normally, I live with speed bumps. Normally, I can go over them. Every single bike I've had, if I hit this bump hard, my sport bike will scrape a little bit. If I crawl over a speed bump on this thing, my speed bumps in particular, I will high center and scrape super bad. Don't ask me how I know. I know. I've already done it. But she's very low to the ground. So see, that could be a positive and a negative, but it's just something that I noticed. I have to be extremely careful, and I'm looking out for potholes a little bit harder on this bike than some of my other ones, because she is so low to the ground. And then when I have two people and then I have her loaded with gear, that only makes it worse, right? So I have done some light highway riding. Now this one, because I was really trying to think of some things that were like, man, what did I really not like about this bike, to be honest with you? Most of these things can be fixed. One thing I did notice, because I've done some light highway riding since I've bought it, that windshield right here puts that wind directly onto my head, and it rattles my brain. There's not much left of a brain, but what is in there with this windshield gets rattled. But see, I didn't really want to mention this one because these bikes don't come with a windshield, so it's like kind of hard, but I'm just giving you my experience from the bike that I have. Man, my head is like, it hurts, okay? It rattles my head. So if I go like this, oh, boom, hey, I'm in a car right now. I'm genuinely in a car. I can't feel any wind. But as soon as you come up here a little bit, yeah. Now, what could solve that is I could buy like one of those adventure bike things that like attaches to the top of this windshield and gives me a little bit more. And I bet you that would solve every single one of those wind problems. Just like the twitchy throttle. I buy a piece, it'll solve it. So that's what I've been loving about this bike so far, is there's nothing that I found that I can't fix. Does that make sense? Next thing, I haven't done much riding at night, because when it's nighttime here, it gets like 25, 30 degrees. Okay, it is cold. It's November. Obviously, I'll be able to tell more in the summertime. But the little bit of night riding that I have done, this headlight sucks donkey, okay? It sucks. This headlight is not fun. I've tried to look into some bulbs, but I really can't find the specific bulb that it is. I'm sure people know what it is, and I'm just an idiot, and I haven't done a lot of research. But that headlight, having your bright on is pretty good. But let me tell you, the stock headlight, okay, I've got perfect vision. I just had my vision tested probably like 3 months ago. The doc said I had 20/20, okay? I couldn't see donkey squat at night with that light on. So now on to the last one. I will be honest, at first, I did not think it was that bad. And then I went on maybe like a 2-hour ride one day when we had 70 degrees. Okay, people are not exaggerating, okay? If you've watched other reviews and stuff on this bike, this seat is one of the worst seats I have ever sat on in my entire life. I have sat on a lot of things. Pause. Whoa. Hold up. Rewind. My bad. I have sat on a lot of motorcycle seats. I would say after about, people seem to have it dialed pretty good. After about mile 60 and probably about an hour, just over an hour of riding, I could not sit any longer. I could not do it. I had to pull over and take a break, and it hurt. It hurt getting off, okay? Yes, I know I'm old. You can call me Unc, okay? I'm 27. After 60 miles, I shouldn't be having to yes, I need to stop now or I'm gonna be in excruciating pain. And then sitting back on the bike, I audibly groaned. When I sat on it, I went, oh, because my butt and lower spine were killing me. That's why I said earlier, it's the comfiest bike I've ever been on, ergonomics wise. I will definitely, before the summer starts and before I start taking this to Intent, South Dakota, before I start taking it to these places, yes, a seat is absolutely required. People ain't lying, dude. My butt was killing me. But that is it. That's all. Are you, and I bet you 95%, besides the lowered one, besides it being so low, all of them can be fixed. Genuinely. I don't like the windshield, take it off. I want the throttle to be not twitchy, I'll buy that part, right? I want the seat to be more comfortable, spend $700 on a seat or buy a $40 seat pad. It's really not that hard. So if you want my opinion, if it was worth it, and if I regret it, I'm just gonna tell you right now, straight up, absolutely not. Now, as long as she stays reliable, doesn't start leaking, she doesn't start doing anything funny business, no funny business around here, I'm gonna keep it forever because I don't sell things, and this thing is absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. I don't regret the purchase whatsoever. So if you guys are looking for this bike and you have an opportunity to get one, I am honestly not disappointed. And as the summer months, come back up and as we start to warm up, we will be taking these things on some long road trips, okay? This is gonna be the bike. This is my cruiser. I like a small cruiser. I like a sporty cruiser. It's got plenty enough power for me and my girlfriend on the back. No complaints from her. The only thing that she really complained about was the throttle being twitchy, how she's almost head-butted me. I can feel her back there right now as I'm going through these canyons. I'm having to drip off. I can feel her back there lunging forward. And like I said, she's not a bad passenger at all. She's a very good passenger. She leans the way she needs to lean. It's not her. It is genuinely the bike. And I'm sure if we rode this a lot and got used to it, it wouldn't even we'd just be used to it, But since we aren't used to it, it's catching us off guard. So, that's all I got. Those are my first impressions. Let me know if there's anything, if you guys have this bike, if you have any first impressions that I didn't mention, or if there's some things that I should do to this bike, or that would make my life more comfortable or a lot easier, absolutely suggest them in the comments, and I listen to every single one of them, and I try to respond to every single comment that I possibly can. So, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one here, and enjoy this ride with my girlfriend. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this ride with me. I'm so happy that I could bring you along, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope I gave you some entertainment, and I hope I gave you, a little bit of time off your stressful life. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend, and I will see you in the next one. Later!